Were you playing music, Charlie? What were you doing?
I have a little keyboard here.
A little
Are you doing the theme song for our
keyboard.
show? What is going on?
Yes.
Can we collaborate?
Yes. Do you want that? Yeah.
Yeah, let's collaborate. Deepa?
Okay.
Yep. Charlie, we ready.
We're ready.
We have
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, now sing, Charlie, sing.
Welcome to the show. This is the new intro. We're debuting it today. We haven't told any of our producers.
Yeah.
This is great. We didn't plan this, to be completely
I don't know if it sounded like it was, but
You know, we will figure out what that sounds like later.
later. Yeah.
For sure.
Well, welcome. Hi, how are you?
I'm very, very good.
We want to get into it quite a bit, but I just kind of want to start with this and get it out of the way because this is probably the most, I don't want to say negative question, but so we just have to get it out of the way. We have to start on this foot. When we're going back to Elton John, you were talking about how he said that your 2019 music sucked. Now, did he straight up say it like that?
He said it before hello.
Oh, really?
That's how we started?
I appreciated it because no one had ever been that straight up and honest with me. So I really appreciated it.
Oh, I was going to say, how do you take that internally? Like, do you agree, or is there still something from that area that you're like, okay, Elton, like, I still don't think this deserves that review?
No, everything he said was full of merit and absolutely valid. But it's just during that time, I kind of lost my way a little bit. I was just hanging out with the wrong people just on a spiritual level. And I just was involving too many people in my art, where he just reminded me that the best is when I just make it myself. And that's what I've done here with Light Switch.
No, that's awesome that he kind of like brought you back to a new place for you to start new music. But did you let that comment slide because it was Elton John? Would you have reacted totally different if someone else told you that? Like, what if we hopped in here and we're like, hey, Charlie, your 2019 music sucks. Would you have reacted any different to us?
Maybe. I'm glad that didn't happen because maybe it would. But I coming from someone as prolific as Elton, who I've looked up to all my life musically, it meant a lot, and it just affirmed something that I had already been thinking.
Now, you worked on Light Switch by yourself, but like you involved a lot of your fans with it, and so like as a musician, the main consumption method for your art is by listening. Live shows, events aside. Kind of like us in radio. So what's it been like now having, this TikTok following where your listeners are kind of active viewers into you, into your life, into your process? Like, has it changed anything on how you start these songs or work on these projects?
It's made me think about less of like a traditional song form. Like, the song has to be 3 minutes and the chorus has to happen here. It's, maybe there's 2 verses. What TikTok has done is it's shown vulnerability in people, and it's kind of opened up the box a little bit on like how things have to be made. Like, not everything has to be so regimented.
Yeah, and I think the other good part about TikTok too is that whole personal connection that you get to make with fans and the interaction side of things. So do you think that you'll ever go back to creating music without putting it on like TikTok or socials first?
I mean, I'll definitely favor it because I do love showing people my process, but I think the songs that I don't show online will become that much more special because nobody's seen any inkling of them online, and they'll hear it in more of a traditionalized way. It'll balance it out. I'm kind of doing it in reverse, where you're an artist and you're supposed to kind of go away for a couple of years and hide and then come out with an album. It doesn't really work like that anymore. You have to, unless you're Beyonce, which I'm not, you have to just showcase everything that's going on in your life.
Do you think you have a preference between the two? Because you brought up a good point, is like when you just release music, right, without putting it on social first, there's an element of surprise and fans are like, oh my God, what is Charlie going to put out? What is it going to sound like? So do you have a preference between the two, like kind of testing it, getting fan interactions first, or just putting music out without doing that like testing kind of phase?
I'd like to think that I have a pretty good gauge on what they'll like, and I'll make the song, I'll start it off myself, and then when I feel like I'm like 40% there, then I'll take my phone out and record the process of me like adding more stuff to it. And it'll all just like come together that way. Like I have a record called That's Hilarious that I'm working on for the album, and I wanted to add strings. And I thought, well, why don't I just add the strings while recording the video for TikTok, and I'll just add them in real time. And that's what I did.
Now, when you see responses from, because like now on TikTok, your fans can see you and your life and your processes. But on the flip side of things, like when you see fans reacting to these TikToks of you building these songs, how does that like influence? Does it influence this? Because I know you've probably seen some people do some crazy stuff with the stuff that you put up on socials.
What's wild is that I saw a cool remix where I don't even know if they remixed it. I think they just slowed the song down and put some reverb to it. And it brought the core, it just brought a completely different feeling out of the song. When you pitch the song down, it's really slow. Light Switch is a very fast song. And when you make it like 100 BPM, so instead of it being all the sudden on and nice, it goes all this stud and none. So I'm like listening to it, like this is dreamy. This is very creative. Maybe I need to make a chopped and screwed remix. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, I'm super influenced by how my fans perceive my music and what they end up doing with it.
It's like collaborating with Charlie Puth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we did earlier.
I want them to feel like they wrote the song with me.
Yeah, and I think with this song especially, the response to it was they felt that way. But I'll be honest, when I first heard the song, and Chris, I don't know if it was the same for you, I was like, this is not what I was expecting from a Charlie Puth song. But it's really good, high energy.
That's what I want.
Yeah, like walk us through the process behind going in like such a completely different direction.
I'm always on a musical quest to try and make different songs while being the producer at the same time and make the song sound nothing like any other thing that I've put out before. I think Calvin Harris is a lot like that as well, which is very admirable and someone I've looked up to in that field. And I just never want to like, oh, here he goes again using the same snare drum and same kit. I want to just completely reinvent my musical wheel. And that's what I've done on this album, which you'll hear later this year. It has my voice on it. That's the only thing that's familiar about it, but everything else is different.
Okay, so now we're 3 albums in. Why this one? It's called Charlie, right? I got that right. Why the decision 3 albums in to do a self-titled album? Like most artists would do that as their first album, or
no. Well, I think it's because this feels like the first album that I never put out, whereas my actual first album was filled with a lot of over analyzing and like, oh, you see you again. We need to make sure that we have this type of tempo record. And like, none of those songs were good anyway. The only song that really, really worked on that album was We Don't Talk Anymore, which I made myself with Cash.
Love that song. Yes.
And thank you. And it just came from like a true, authentic place. So the first album was laced with inauthenticity. So I figured I'd do the third album, because the second album I started to get into my groove a little bit, and I just feel like I'm fully here. So I am Charlie, and that's why I'm calling it Charlie.
You brought up a really interesting point that the first album you felt like you were over analyzing a lot of it, right? So if you could go back and redo any of it, would you, or would you keep it the same? Because over the years, it's gotten you to this stage where you're like, all right, I'm tired of all this, like, have to fit in this box, and I just want to be fully authentic at this point.
I think everything's supposed to happen the way that it's supposed to happen. Maybe if I put the album out when I was 18, I would be a messed up pop singer, and like I would be shaving my head on camera or something like that. So maybe it's good that it all started happening to me later in my youth, and which I'm still in. I'm talking like I'm 90 years old. In my youth.
That doesn't really help. My next question was, will you shave your head on camera with us?
Yeah,
but I guess we'll have to skip that one.
Oh, I was like, is that another coincidence?
Want to get into some dirt, okay? Because I heard you say that this album, your new one, Charlie, is all about revenge. So we want to know, why is this all about revenge? Who, what, where, when, why do you need to get this revenge that you are seeking?
Oh, you want
revenge, but not acting on it. It's like when someone cuts you off in traffic and you say like, oh, that was a real mean move. I would do this, and then you start to be like, oh, I would drive up alongside them if I wasn't at a red light right now, and I'd show them. It's like kind of like it's a lot of talking to myself and being disappointed with decisions that I've made in the past, and I should have done this, but then again, like I said before, everything happens for a reason, and I wouldn't have gotten here without all of those experiences. And this album is just kind of musically portraying that time in my life when I was figuring it all out of how to.
The shower argument after you've had the argument, all the things you should have said. Yeah.
Yes, you know it, Chris Kelly.
Yes.
I was expecting you to be like ex-girlfriend this, ex-girlfriend that.
Yeah, you wanted dirt.
No, it's not even all. It's not all about that stuff. It's about maybe things that happened around the same time of those happenings as well. It's more interesting, and the record gets more depthy.
And before we go, because I know we're running out of time here, you've talked about realizing the power of leaking music early, giving your fans that sense of and a chance to take part in its creation. You also produce a lot and take musical notes with your voice notes app every day. So what is in that ideas folder right now that you can leak for us?
You'll see it on TikTok. There's something I want to make really like downright theatrical music. Oh my gosh, guys, there are dogs that are on my deck. They're so cute.
Go
Show us.
on, bring it into the interview.
I'm gonna let the owner find them. They're in the front yard now. That's not good. Anyway, they'll figure it out. Anyway,
we're not getting any leaked exclusives today.
No, and I swear to goodness that dog happening right now was not me trying to distract from that. She's not even looking for them. Where did they go? They might be in my front yard right now.
But nice retraction. Part two.
I'm gonna have to tell her. She's on her phone. The dogs just literally went over. Whatever.
Do you think that the dogs know that they're in Charlie Puth's yard?
They probably do. I'm gonna tell her that she's looking for them now. Here, hold on a second.
Yeah. This is the first time on this show we've actually had a guest walk out on us. That never happens.
How'd it go?
Yes, I've made friends with people on the beach.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Hold
on. I was picturing a side yard. Show me this beach. You're not on a beach.
No, I live right here.
Charlie! I'm walking out now.
Wow. That is beautiful.
Come on, buddy. She's right over there. She's right over there. Yeah, I don't know who put that there. It's so random.
This show is off the rails.
It's off the you see me interacting with my neighbors.
Yeah, I feel like we're doing the you've already done the 24 hours with Charlie Puth for Vogue, but I feel like we're getting like a day in the life here.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. She seemed pretty concerned, so I figured I'd help out.
No.
Did we get all the questions?
I think so.
Yeah, I think we got everything down to you dodging the question about leaking stuff early. We'll do that on TikTok.
My neighbors are on my side. They are
they are on the PR team. Well, we can't wait for the album. Is there anything you want your fans to know up here in Canada? Any message you want to pass along to them? Is there anything we missed because we were focused on dogs on the beach?
Mm-hmm.
I am very excited for my Canadian fans to hear my most personal work. It's gonna be now he's peeing on the bush. He's gonna be come on, buddy, go. I'm very excited for people to hear this most personal work of mine, and it's been a very interesting album rollout. But I want them to feel like they wrote the song with me, and that's been the most important part of all of this.
Well, if you want to use any of our jam session as inspiration for the album, you have our permission.
We're here. Set. We can jam
I'm
one more
set.
time.
I think I got everything I need.
All right. Okay.
Come on, Charlie. Have you heard anyone as talented as Chris Kelly and I with these instruments?
I love that Deepa's holding up the tambourine.
Yeah.
Just so you know it's there. It's the real thing. Okay. Come on. Give me credit. I'm a musician too, Charlie.
I wouldn't go that far.